A Wisconsin judge has ordered that workers not be allowed to quit their old job until the bosses are okay with it. Interesting. So now, this is not a government job. This is private healthcare. And these 7 workers who quit their old job and successfully found a new job in their field that offered them more competitive pay and better hours, but their old job didn't like it. So now, let me give you the details of this. So now, these 7 workers quit a company called ThedaCare, which makes me think of Dragon Age for some reason. But they applied for positions at Ascension and received job offers. So now these workers decided to take these offers because they were better. But when they tried to start their new jobs, ThedaCare filed a lawsuit saying, we're going to block that move because we don't want you working somewhere else. So now that's despite the fact that not a single one of them had a contract or an obligation at ThedaCare, nor did Ascension do anything to quote unquote poach those workers. Nonetheless, that's what ThedaCare is claiming in this lawsuit. So now let me also add that there was no non-compete clause, and Wisconsin is an at-will employment state. So let me get this straight, right? So in this state, Wisconsin, if a job wants to fire you, get rid of you, just done, right? Well, they can do that day. No warning, nothing. Hey, get out, you're gone. Here's your pink slip. And it doesn't even have to be for any reason. But apparently it doesn't work that way around. Because if you want to quit, they're going to take you to court. And a judge, a circuit court judge, is going to say, no, you're not allowed to leave that job. That's insane. So more details about that. The Outagamie County Circuit Court Judge Mark McGinnis granted ThedaCare's request to block the transfer of these employees. In the complaint, the lawyers for ThedaCare wrote that Ascension had shockingly chosen to poach the employees during a stressful time in the healthcare industry. More COVID-19 patients are hospitalized in the Fox Valley now than at any time during the pandemic, according to the Wisconsin Hospital Association data, and ThedaCare has had to cancel non-emergency surgeries in order to make space. So this is one of the fallouts from the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, ThedaCare is a level 2 trauma center, meaning that they have specialists like interventional radiologists available to regularly treat patients, whereas Ascension is a level 3 trauma center and can only provide initial support to trauma patients and is able to transfer them to ThedaCare Neenah for more care. And so you can understand why workers at ThedaCare, who actually end up having more responsibility, despite maybe not being trained in, general support, might be feeling a bit overwhelmed, especially with the gigantic surge of unvaccinated COVID-19 patients. And so, look, the entire pandemic has been a disaster for our healthcare system. No doubt. Our, for-profit healthcare system is painfully unprepared to handle any of these mass emergencies that we've had as a result of the pandemic. But nonetheless, right, we have seen just a massive amount on the provider side, nurses, doctors that are quitting the healthcare field. There's been lots of resignations. These hospitals are not staffed properly. Didn't have enough equipment. You remember, of course, hospitals not having enough PPE for their workers, or things like ventilators and all sorts of equipment like that. And so they've had a really, really difficult time as a result of COVID. And so it's not only just about staffing and machines and equipment, but again, there's a lot of burnout too. And by the way, if anybody says, well, they're quitting because of vaccine mandates, that's ridiculous. That's not true at all. Maybe a few here and there, but the vast majority, it's just more about burnout. The sheer trauma of dealing with all these people who are dying, begging for their lives as they do so. Many of them, again, as I mentioned, many unvaccinated. You also have incredibly long hours, consistent stress, and of course, you also have stories of attacks by families of the people who demanded that quack cures be used on dying relatives. Things like ivermectin. You must give them ivermectin right now. We don't believe in hospitals, even though they're in the hospital right now, and you must give them the ivermectin. The 12 cc's of horse paste today. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that. Well, then I'm going to sue you. You murderer. How many stories have I done for that? Again, all of this is a big problem in the medical community. And so in this case, ThedaCare is like, we're overwhelmed and we're understaffed already. You can't leave. You can't leave. And so the employees are like, well, there's one surefire way that you could make us stay. And that's actually give us some more flexible hours and better pay. Did that happen? Was there an offer made? No. Now, Ascension, however, had offered better pay. When they applied, they had offered excellent, more competitive pay and more flexible hours. And so now ThedaCare had the opportunity to make a counteroffer to this, but decided not to. In fact, here's Timothy Breister, one of the applicants in the dispute, and he said that the pay and the benefits and the lifestyle options afforded by Ascension were just simply better. Quote, it's not just in pay, but also a better work-life balance. Now, after approaching ThedaCare with the chance to match the offers that they had been given, and remember, this isn't Ascension coming in and approaching the employees while they were working and saying, hey, we've got better offer. No, these are people that were already not happy with the work-life balance and what they were getting from ThedaCare, and thought, well, maybe we could do a little bit better for ourselves, and made an application and put in their applications and were approved. And yeah, they came back, they got an offer and said, hey, if you can match this, then we'll stay, because we know how short-staffed you are. And here's ThedaCare's response. Let's see. They said that the long-term expense to ThedaCare was not worth the short-term cost, and no counteroffer was to be made. You get nothing. How dare you? How dare you try? I thought we were a family here. I thought we were a family. We're all supposed to work together. Not a good family, I would say. No, it's all bullshit. And now they go to try to use the power of the state to literally put an injunction to stop them from going to work at a new place for better pay and better hours. Why? Why spend all the money on fees for lawyers, of course, to launch this lawsuit, to get this injunction, to make sure that these workers, you're just basically screwing them over because you didn't make a good enough offer and they wanted to go someplace else where they might be appreciated more. Now let them go. This is a ridiculous waste of time. Like the Judge McGinnis, I don't know him. Obviously, I don't know him personally. I don't know his previous rulings, but I think this is incredibly dumb. Now, McGinnis says he made his ruling because, well, I just want both parties to work it out. What's to work out? They weren't getting what they wanted from the job that they were in. They got a new job. And, you know, what? Is it their fault? No, there's nothing to work out. Let him go. Let him go. Or give him a better offer after all. And if you don't want to do that, done. We're done. I'm going to go work somewhere else. I mean, this whole thing, entire thing is absolutely ridiculous. Look, I mean, not only is this just a ridiculous case, literally trying to stop people who've left from starting their new job, even though you've got nothing formally in writing. And again, I can understand if they had signed a non-compete clause, but there was nothing there saying that they were not allowed to quit their job and go and work somewhere else for better pay. No, there was nothing there. So there should be nothing legally binding them to this old job. But they had to get the government and they got to get this judge involved. And I think as a result of that, this judge needs to be recalled.